Hey guys, Varuna here. I'm interviewing players competing in the Horus Heresy Legion's World Cup. Please introduce yourself, what's your region, and how long have you been playing for?
Hello guys, my name is Constantin. I am a huge Warhammer fan since I was 17 years old. I started the hobby basically by collecting Blood Angels and Grey Knights for the tabletop, and as I got older I got more interested in the books, mainly the Horus Heresy series and then of course Horus Heresy Legions.
Who are your teammates, and how long have you known them?
My teammates are Mr. Midnight and B-Side, and I knew B-Side from the MC voice chat and Midnight from Leather, but I mainly got in touch with each other when the World Cup started. We started a little channel where we can discuss matters like certain matchups or opponents, and of course share some small talk.
What's your experience playing card games prior to Horus Heresy Legions?
Well, actually not much, to be honest. I never played an online card game before, but I was playing Android Netrunner with some friends in real life, and I actually enjoyed that quite a lot.
What are the reasons behind the 3 warlords you chose for the World Cup?
Well, actually, I was thinking about which warlords I would choose quite a time. I picked Gilliman because I think with the Ultramarines card pool, you can play very versatile, so you can adapt to some opponents. And he can take some beating with 40 HP. Alpha Legion I picked because I was mainly an Alpha Legion player before the Custodes came into the game. And I like the way they can disrupt your opponent's playstyle. And finally, I guess people would have been mad at me if I would not have picked at least one Custodes Warlord. So I went with Aemon Teromachian. He's kind of the middle ground between the aggressiveness of Nassau and the health pool of Constantin Valdor.
I just want to comment that that's interesting that you didn't pick your signature guy there.
Yeah, I think that NASA would have been a problem with only 30 HP and DD still a thing. During the time we had to pick the warlords, I think that might have caused a lot of problems.
No, I mean Constantin Valdor. Yeah, isn't he the 40 HP warlord?
Yeah, he is, but I think you need to be more aggressive. And DD would have been an auto loss with him, I guess.
Who was the most difficult opponent you've faced so far?
Well, the opponents I faced, they all were formidable, but I have to give extra credit to Rex Colt. I mean, he bested me before the game started with his decision making, meaning the choices of the warlords he took in the first game, and also during the games themselves. I got really lucky that I could at least take one victory in that game.
Who do you think is going to be the most difficult going forward?
Considering the rankings, I guess that would be France. They have very good players overall, and I mean, the way they ramped through the ladder at the moment, I mean, through the Group A, speaks for themselves. I'm looking forward to that, but I think they will have good cards against us.
How are you and your team doing overall? Do you have any regrets?
Well, if you had asked me that question a few days ago, I would have said we are not doing that good because we just lost against Asia. But now, since yesterday, we got 27-0 win, and I feel a lot more comfortable now, obviously. I regret taking Aemon Teromachian, although I knew my opponent, which was Rex Colt, had Mortarion in his roster, and that was a huge mistake.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned competing so far?
Don't choose Aemon Teromachian when your opponent has Mortarion in his roster. That's a huge mistake. Had to learn that the hard way.
Do you agree with banning Crucial Choice in Khorne's favor? Why or why not?
Yeah, I agree completely. Crucial Choice is truly mighty and sometimes game-deciding offer if some warlord gets one way or another to get Bloodthirst, and you can plan for it. If some legion suddenly gets a really strong card like Vengeful Spirit, which usually doesn't have such a card, you can plan for that. And Khorne's favor, I think, greatly would benefit some warlords which already have Bloodthirst, like Khorne, and that would be something that would have changed the warlord picks if we had known that this card would enter the game.
What are your thoughts on the current balance of the game? What would you nerf or buff?
Well, with Desperate Defense out of the way, I think there are no giant or obvious issues in my opinion. I think the new Solar Auxilia cards are a bit too good, considering the fact that they are neutral cards, and in combination they can be really strong. Other than that, I think Sisters of Silence and the Agents of the Sigilite need a little nerf, but the newer legions always got a bit of a power creep going, and especially the older legions need some more love. As for buffs, I obviously would want a little buff to the Custodes faction. I mean, the Sentinel trait, it made sense during the time, it was the Prospero expansion during the time the Custodes came out, but with newer and newer cards added to the game, those beefy stat lines the Custodes have were outdone by other stat lines from newer factions, and they don't have the debuff, so you don't draw a card, which I think needs to be changed at some point in the game.
Who is your favorite warlord to play, and who is the warlord you hate fighting against the most?
Well, by far the most favorite guy I play is Nassau. The damage output he can have, combined with the Custodes backstory, is something I really, really like, so the lore is something which got me into them too. As for hating, well, it would be the whole Knight faction. I hate the fact that you get to 10 energy and kill your opponent with the Graviton Cannon. I mean, it got a bit more difficult with the nerfs to the Knight household, but it's still a very oppressive playstyle. I don't like that.
What would you like to see added to the game next?
Well, new factions, new cards, new game modes, I would like that all. I'm curious about the new game mode the devs promised us quite a while ago. I think it's over a year. I'm not sure about that. I'm curious what they are going with. I also would like to see a 5th warrior for each faction, but I'm happy about everything they add to the game. I really like it the way it is, and I'm sure I will like it when they add some new stuff.
Would you like to do a shout out to any players?
Yeah, of course I'd like to. I mean, of course, my teammates, B-Side and Midnight, I'm glad we play on one side. I would not want to face you in the World Cup. You're two big players, and I'm glad you're on my team. Then to the MC community in general, those are great people who I am having fun with playing Legions, and they also help each other on Discord. Overall, I'd say it's a nice bunch of maniacs, and I fit in perfectly. And I want to shout out some players. I had some bigger talks over the Discord channel too. It's Nova Prime, Talos, and G13 Phoenix. Nice talks, nice games with you. Keep it up, guys. It was lots of fun with you.
Any social media accounts you'd like to share with the audience?
Oh my god, there are a lot. I mean, there are some content creators in the MC community. I hope I don't forget anyone. If I do, please accept my apologies for that. I mean, Pyrrhus, Lurifax, Balguard, Karmatoses, and Wapix all do a great job with covering the World Cup or presenting some games, offering some videos about their gameplay. I also like the idea of doing videos for beginners like Skuff does. Definitely you should check out his videos if you're a beginner and new to the game. And the last one I want to mention is Physics Teacher, who does a very good overview about the warlord he plays, combined with some footage, and he also made the deck library for the game, which can be a help for everyone. So big shout out to those guys who help promoting the game.
Thanks so much for the interview, and best of luck in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thank you for that. We will do our best.